Last week, if you remember, people were excited about the Pfizer vaccine that has a 90% effectiveness rate. This week, people are looking at a competitor, Moderna, which is also advancing its trial for a vaccine that is reported to have a 94.5% effectiveness rate. Of course, that's very positive news. People turned risk on. Equities are up, so the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones both hit all-time high, with the Dow Jones stopping inches away from a momentous level of 30,000. The Russell 2000 is up 2%, and then the Nasdaq keeps on retracing, so you can see that shift from investors away from tech stocks, which benefit from an at-home economy, and towards more traditional companies that benefit from a real economy. The top performers, of course, are airlines, cruises, and hotels, which have been the ones most constrained throughout the year, and that are poised to benefit from a reopening of the economy. Away from equities, I was looking at gold. We're up, but in a very constrained way, in a very disappointing way, at 1,880. What is not disappointing, though, is crypto, and it never seems to disappoint these days. But even after a massive ramp-up, we moved another 5% up yesterday on the session. So we had an intraday high of 16,880, and we retraced just a bit to close at 16,780, so 5% up still, which is a great move. Away from Bitcoin and towards alts, Ethereum, a bit disappointing. So we're up, of course, but we're still constrained within or below that resistance at 475 or 480. And probably we will pierce through eventually, and when we do, it will be clear skies ahead. But for now, we're still staying constrained. What is not staying constrained, though, is Litecoin. And it's a coin that most people aren't really enthused about. It's an old, large-cap coin. But if you're a chartist, you will see a long-term, a multi-year pennant culminating towards $60. And we just pierced through at the tip, rising 18%. So I just want to let that set in. 18% just yesterday. So of course outperforming any traditional asset and even outperforming Bitcoin. So we're at $74, whereas we were just at 61 or 62 a few days ago. So a massive move there. And other altcoins, there's Dash and Zcash that moved both about 8%. Otherwise, the other altcoins aren't that fascinating, just following Ethereum up, but still constrained. Away from price action, another quote from Stanley Druckenmiller, so that billionaire investor that mentioned he was owning Bitcoin, saying, look, I own a lot more gold than I own Bitcoin, but if the narrative on gold works out, the narrative on Bitcoin will work out as well, and probably in a much bigger way, simply because of the asset being illiquid and it being a newer and more adapted to digital asset. I've put the actual quote in my written version so you can look at it. And then another thing that I thought was interesting that happened yesterday, you're probably aware of it, but Citibank issued a report on cryptocurrencies, and there was one analysis predicting Bitcoin could hit $318,000 by 2021. So that's just next year. Of course, I like to remind people those predictions are made by institutions that missed out on Bitcoin for the past 12 years, so something to take with a grain of salt. But it's still positive and really nice to see that institutions are catching on, better late than never, right? And that they're okay publishing those really aggressive price targets in such a short period of time. So let's see what happens. That's it for me today. I wish you a great day and a great trading day.